Assalamu alaikum dear students, how are you? I hope and pray that all of you are fine. I officially welcome you all in your new session. Today we will start a new topic, but before going into the details of today's topic, first have a look at the paper pattern of paper 4 and paper 5. Paper 4 is a 100 marks paper and the weightage of this paper is 38.5%. The time allocated for this paper is 2 hours. Basically this paper is regarding structured questions. There are two sections. Section A having 85 marks, all questions are compulsory. Section B, there are two questions, you have to solve one and the question is of 15 marks. Then we have paper number 5. In this paper, you will utilize the same skills which we learned in our paper number 3, that was advanced practical skills. In paper 5, we will be using the same skills, planning, analysis and evaluation. The weightage of this paper is 11.5% and its marks are 30. And the time allocated for this paper is 1 hour 15 minutes. Now moving on to our actual topic, which is energy and respiration. First I'm gonna show you the learning outcome of this chapter and then we will go through the topic. See, the name of the chapter is energy and respiration. There are two parts. First part is regarding energy, the second one is regarding respiration. Now I'm gonna read the first learning outcome. It says, outline the need for the energy in living organism as illustrated by anabolic reactions such as DNA replication, protein synthesis, active transport, movement and maintenance of body temperature. And then we will learn about the features of ATP that makes it suitable as the universal energy currency. Okay, now coming on to the first topic, that is energy. The first thing that comes into our mind, that why we need energy, why all living organisms require energy. Why? Because there are multiple reactions, different activities going on in our body cells at the time, and all these reactions, they require energy to carry out those processes. Processes like anabolic reactions, active transport and thermoregulation. Now we will go through each of these processes. The first one is anabolic reaction. The first thing comes into our mind, that what are anabolic reactions? I'm sure all of you are familiar with the term. Anabolic means, anabolic reactions are those reactions in which small molecule they add up to form a large molecule, or simply we can say that micromolecules they join up to form macromolecules. The best example is the example of protein synthesis. You know, the basic unit of protein is amino acids, and there are 20 different kinds of amino acid. These different amino acid using peptide bond, they combine together and they form a polypeptide. And during the formation of polypeptide or protein, energy is required. Similarly, there is a process of DNA replication. We learned in AS that before cell division, DNA undergoes a process of replication in which DNA replicates itself, and during the process of DNA replication, energy is required. Then we have the process of active transport. You are all familiar with the concept that active transport is a process in which molecules are transported against the concentration gradient, and in doing so, energy is utilized. For example, the movement of ions across the membrane against their concentration gradient. In such processes, energy is required. Then we have thermoregulation. Thermoregulation means maintaining the temperature. Here we need some background information as well, beta. There are two kinds of living organism. One, ectotherms. They don't have ability to maintain their internal temperature. Like the organisms which undergo hibernation when winter comes, such organism, they don't have ability to maintain their internal temperature, which is the part of a larger phenomena called homeostasis, in which the internal environment of the organism is kept constant. In order to reserve energy, they undergo hibernation, in order to survive. But then there is a category of living organism called endotherm, which includes all the mammals and birds. They have ability to maintain their internal temperature, and in doing so, they require energy. And we learned about this process of thermoregulation in humans, that humans regulate their internal temperature using a specific phenomena of negative feedback mechanism. So Up till now, we have learned that energy is required to carry out different kinds of reactions in human body, and some of these reactions are anabolic reactions, active transport mechanisms, and thermoregulation. Now, where does this energy comes from? If I want a single word answer, to all of you will say that energy will come from respiration. And what is respiration? The respiration is a process in which energy is released by the oxidation of glucose molecules. Yes, but as you can see that when glucose molecule is oxidized, then a large amount of energy is released, which is 2870 kilojoules. That is a pretty large amount of energy, and for carrying out different small processes within the cell, this much energy is not required. So theoretically, if every time this much amount of energy is released, the most of it is wasted in the form of heat. Only some of it is harnessed to carry out particular functions. Then what is the solution? The solution is called ATP, Universal Energy Currency. And what is ATP? It is this little energy packet, or you can say universal energy currency, but ATP, the full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate. Now, adenosine triphosphate, what is it? Tri means 3, phosphate means phosphate. There are 3 phosphate molecules over here. There's a ribose sugar, and then we have a purine base called adenine. So this is an entire molecule of ATP. So how energy is released from ATP? Basically, energy is released when these phosphate molecules are broken down. They are broken down by the process of hydrolysis, okay, with the help of water molecule. When one molecule of phosphate is released over here, inorganic phosphate is released, and a bond is broken down, then 30.5 kilojoule per mole energy is released. Now it is no more ATP, now it is called ADP, adenosine diphosphate. Di mean 2. Here we have 2 phosphate group. And this reaction is reversible reaction. Similarly, when this bond is broken down, another inorganic phosphate molecule is released, and now we are left with adenosine monophosphate. So this is how bonds are broken down and energy is released from the ATP, which is utilized in the cell to carry out different functions. And when there is only adenosine monophosphate left, so again there is one phosphate over here. This is also released, and during the release of this is also released by the breakage of this bond, and when this bond breaks, so less amount of energy is released, which is 14.2 kilojoule per mole. So this is how energy is harnessed from ATP molecules. Now the question comes that why ATP? Why is this molecule so special that this is used in the process of energy release? Why? Because ATP, it is readily or easily hydrolyzed to release the energy. Secondly, it's a very small and water soluble molecule. That is why, as it is easily hydrolyzed, small and water soluble, so it means it is easily transported within the cell, and wherever energy is required, this ATP goes there to provide the energy. Okay, dear students, this is all from today's topic. Please watch the video carefully. If you have any queries to ask me in the group, go through this topic from your book as well, and then we will then come back to me if you have any queries. Okay, dear students, Allah Hafiz.